At this very moment, in a forest in North America, a primal battle for survival is taking place. This is not a sports match, but a real battle. Where the loser will pay with his life. On a stage built of dry leaves and sunlight, two forces confront each other. One is a reptilian assassin with deadly chemical weapons, and the other is the embodiment of unconditional courage. Get ready to arrange the architecture that carves the line between life and death, more delicate than paper. Meet our hero, a wild turkey mother. She has no talons like an eagle, nor the strength of a bear. Her only weapons are her maternal instinct and her tireless legs. Every day, her job is to lead her cubs, the newborn babies, through these lotus forests to find food. Every rustle of leaves, every swaying shadow of a tree was a warning. She knew well that in this world, the innocence of children was easy prey for predators. And today, that darkness was closer than ever. The predator that every creature in the forest had to be wary of had appeared. And not come to talk. The first test came in the form of a harmless milk snake. This was a small test, a test of mother's vigilance. And she passed it with flying colors, a few scooping movements, a perfect threatening pose, and the intruder had to slink away. This small victory reinforced the automatic, but at the same time, it was a visual reminder there was no shortage of slides and dangers here. Her instincts told her this was just a warm-up exercise. The real nightmare was still lurking somewhere deep in those lotus grasses, waiting for the right moment to strike the fatal blow. And then it appeared. The timer started. The enemy's final scream. The bell. Not a small snake. But a seasoned old man, with liquid and splinter fragments that made the sound of death. Each ring was a declaration. I am the master of this place. It did not pounce, but moved menacingly, sticking out its double belt like a life or death sensor. It saw the chicks, a feast, and it would not miss. Mother Turkey knew it. In an instant, she transformed herself from a gentle mother into a fighting machine. Her wings spread to their maximum, her feathers standing on end, turning her into a terrifying ghost, But the snake did not flinch. It lunged with incredible speed. The first bite. Luckily, it only hit Viet's feather skirts, but danger was still near. And then, everything exploded. The most primal power had been awakened by maternal instinct. Mother Turkey had no choice but to defend. She attacked. Her vertical jumps, combined with her iron-capped legs, connected to the snake. This was no longer a normal chase, but a display of madness and emotion. She pounced, kicked, and flapped her wings. Creating a whirlwind of frequencies that would confuse even experienced hunters. Each kick was a message. Keep away from my children. The power of motherhood had won over the brutality of nature. The snake, seething and exhausted, had to retreat in defeat. After the storm, there was peace, incomplete and gentle. The sunlight shone down on the exhausted mother, but the garbage dump, the small wounds on her body were now like medals of courage. And then, the most touching reward appeared. The little children ran out from their hiding place, surrounding their mother. They rested their heads on her as a deepest thanks. While solving this problem, we understood that the greatest power in the world does not come from muscles or weapons, but from a heart that is willing to sacrifice everything. It is the kind of power that even the most fearsome hunter must fear. But the story in the deep forest has never had only one speaker. When the main screen ended, new supporting characters appeared. A chipmunk, who had witnessed the entire battle from high up in the tree, now quickly came down to the ground to gently drop fallen chicken feathers. Precious materials to warm their nest for the coming winter. In another corner, a woodpecker also contributed by repeatedly hitting the tree trunk like a round of applause for the winner. Nature does not waste anything, and every event, no matter how small, creates ripples that affect the surrounding ecosystem. Then another day passed in this North American forest. A mother taught us a lesson in courage. If this story touches your heart, if it gives you the strength to live, let us know by leaving a like, a comment, sharing your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Because the surprise of the Wild World discovery is still going on. Thank you for joining us.